Welcome back, Otakus. How are you guys? Today we are going on another bizarre adventure. And the topic is, drumroll, unique art styles in anime.
Wow,
Wow.
such a good theme.
Yes, I mean, it's actually a very important theme, I would say.
Very important. Why do you say it's very important?
Because, I mean, anime is a very visual style of art, of representing art, right? It's like 30 frames per second. And the art style defines the anime in many ways. For
Yes, I agree.
example, if you do like serious styles of drawing, you can expect it to be a more serious anime. When it's more like a childish drawing, you can expect it to be a bit more like childish in plot or representation. I say expect because some animes might use that to show the exact opposite, which is a nice touch.
Okay. Yes, but we all know some of the key factors that help us identify what is and what is not an anime. The first one that pops out is the characters, because the big eyes and
Kawaii.
the kawaii faces.
The kawaii eyes of the 90s
Yeah.
with the big Sailor Moon eyes.
Uh,
Art style does evolve over time, that's true.
True. But then again, we see some animes going over the edge and doing some
Something
unique.
way too different, right? To the
Yeah, they still kept the main features of what is needed to identify what is and what is not an anime, but adding some unique elements and some unique art style that do let us classify this as some sort of another type of art or an elevated type of anime art.
Yeah, nowadays even like a lot of effects are used using computer effects, so it starts to bend a bit in the 2.5D of animation. Some animes are even considered anime when they are like even full 3D. So I mean, there are like many ways to define an anime nowadays. So
Yeah, I agree. So, what is the first one that pops out in your head when we say about unique art style in anime?
yeah, probably No Game No Life. I mean, it's one of my favorites, and the recoloring of it all makes it a bit of a unique art style, because just the recoloring makes it feel something different and very, very vibrant in that case.
Okay, so let's try to describe what makes No Game No Life unique in art style. Can you do it?
I would say it's mostly the lightning and the palette theme used. Like the colors are super vibrant. The
Yeah.
lightning is really strong on most of the colors. I mean, even if you see some pages of the manga, you can see like the colors don't. You can say they don't match exactly what the character are supposed to be, but
Yes.
the colors are there. But you can feel like the environment. There's something not uh, normal about it. It's really special, because like it might look just like it's coloring, but it makes a huge difference. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember that they use a lot of warm colors. For example,
Yeah.
yellows and pinks. A lot of shades of pinks are in No Game No Life. And I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, there isn't a lot of negative scenes or backgrounds in the anime. I'm just recalling some small scenes, for example, from the cave
The
where
cave and the buildings, sometimes when they do like a
the last
certain
game,
fight, it's a bit more darker, but I
yeah,
mean, it's still very vibrant. And
hmm
even if the environment is a bit dark, the
the
characters are
characters are not,
super vibrant and like
yeah,
they jump to your eyes because they are so vibrant compared to the environment.
yeah. The characters, they never use a single piece of dark clothing,
Yeah.
so
Yes, that's true.
that's
Totally
good.
right.
Yeah. So I have also watched No Game No Life, and I agree with you with some sort of unique art style given to to that. The last anime that I saw that probably has some sort of unique art style, it's Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Yeah, it's a mix of. First of all, it's very high quality,
Mm-hmm.
just like the 2D, and they do a lot of like special effects, rendered 3D models, and they look simply amazing mixed with the 2D animation. It's insane.
Yeah, it's some sort of, I would say, um, probably uh, some sort of cultural Japanese art made
Yeah, they are. They
from,
are mainly the water effects.
yeah,
They are very Japanese inspired. That's true.
yeah, because of that layering that looks like sheets of paper over one over the other,
Yeah,
and
it's the water also. It's very colorized to that famous painting of the
mhm.
water wave. Yeah,
I believe that they do that the way that they did it in Kimetsu no Yaiba. It's very well done. It suits the history. It immerses you into the story, immerses you into what's
yeah,
happening, and it's very cool, I would say, to see that kind of animation and to see that happening inside the anime. And does not it's not a piece that steals the anime or that ruins the anime.
yeah,
It
at all.
just fits right there.
And yeah, we aren't talking about just the 3D effects. Many times you like see the characters in actual 3D, but they only use it when you don't really notice it, and they are both, even though they are all quality. Like
Hmm.
it's not like you will notice, oh, this is 3D. It's like if you don't pay really close attention, sometimes you don't even notice it because, for example, if they are moving with your back turned to you, it's very possible they use a 3D character to do that. But it's actually hard to notice because they only use it on the right times. So it's a really high quality anime, and they like mix the 2D with the 3D perfectly.
Yeah, I agree.
That's that's the future of anime.
Mhm. I wouldn't say that it's the future
Yeah, I
because
mean, there's a lot of work to do that, honestly,
true.
because you have to mix them both so they look good.
Yeah, I mean there is some sort of there are companies or maybe drawers that try to do that and didn't work. It's also a try and catch thing until you can make it this good. It's a try and catch.
Yeah, and I guess there needs to be some communication with the artists and because you have like the 2D artist, right, and you have the 3D artist. you
Mm-hmm.
can do it all, right? I mean, it's possible one guy can do it, but likely you have to communicate with the renderer and the guy actually doing the pictures, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I believe so.
it also requires like teamwork, so it comes up well, and they need to know what's the plan to like make it look cool, because both people have to make it look cool and well with each other. So
Mm-hmm.
I do see that that's likely a lot of work, but
Yeah,
it looks phenomenal in the end.
I
So I
agree.
think it's worth it, to be honest.
Yes, of course it's worth. If it works this well, it's worth it.
Yeah, in Kimetsu no Yaiba you have the few examples of the lightning guy and the fire dance.
Mm-hmm.
Both clips you see when they came out, you saw them everywhere. So that's how important a few seconds of good animation are,
Can actually be. Yeah.
because they you literally see that awesome thing and you start to share that awesome thing everywhere, and suddenly everyone saw the anime, and suddenly there's a movie in the cinema, and people that never watched Kimetsu went and actually saw
Yeah.
the movie.
And train stations with trains covered with marketing.
Yeah.
It's actually good. It's the unique art style can actually be some sort of marketing if it works.
Yes. It's probably an investment, but I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if sometimes it doesn't work as well as Kimetsu no Yaiba, I think it's good to like push forward the limits of originality. You can say it maybe.
Yes, I mean the even in regular movies or regular animation, the job of the producer is to actually to have some sort of vision over the story and over the story that is telling that you the movie or the series or whatever is telling and tell them by that vision, and that what makes a good producer and what doesn't,
Yeah.
the way that they tell the story and their vision over the story and how to tell them.
Yeah. We also have like animes like Vivi, which also have good fighting scenes with kind of unique art style. That one was also, like for example, a good scene sometimes are done by another person
Mm-hmm.
exclusively. And there's actually some art displaying like what what each frame is supposed to be on the anime Vive. It's actually a nice to see like I don't think it's called the producer, but the guy doing those awesome things.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see those drawings he made to what the action scene is supposed to look like, and it's really actually awesome
Yeah, yeah, I
to
agree.
see the work behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. So do you
Um,
have more animes over that unique art style list of
oh, there are a
yours?
lot actually. Should we like go a bit fast about them, because like a few of them have a bit to talk about, because
Mm-hmm.
some animes use the animation sometimes as an enhancer. You know, for
Yes.
example, if you want to do a child story, you like use child drawing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cartoonish. So it's meant for kids. You enhance it, like saying this is for kids. There are actually a few others that like to use it more like as a twist.
The characters for uh, maybe a childish anime or animation, they tend to look different as well.
Yes,
It's
yes, yes,
not
yes.
just the art, but the characters itself. They tend to look different.
Yeah. So I mean, a few examples from like JoJo. I mean, the author of JoJo draws like that. He himself has a unique draw style. So
Yeah.
and it passed over to the anime, that unique drawing, the unique type of like face draws, the huge shoulders, stuff like that. That makes it very very unique.
Yeah,
And
very
every
very
character
strong
is very
lines.
manly. Even
Yeah.
the women are very manly.
There's
Everyone is
very
manly.
very strong lines on the faces. The
Yeah,
shoulders are very
sharp, more like serious in some way, or actually, it's
they have huge
sometimes it's
shoulders.
sometimes it's hard to
To identify if it's a man or a woman.
know. I mean, maybe on JoJo sometimes it might be hard, but sometimes it's hard to describe what we are actually trying to say in very specific ways. I mean,
Hmm.
um, there's also the anime Drifters. I'm not sure if you heard about.
I've heard about
Um,
it, but I didn't saw it.
yeah,
Watch
it's
it.
has a kind of unique art style. It's
Mm-hmm.
a very serious drawing. The story is also savage. Once again, it's like an enhancer in that case, because like it tells of like a medieval Japanese story, and it has like very serious lines to show that, and the merciless that goes through war and stuff like that. It's really nice. The characters have twisted eyes and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
a bit to like enhance the, not the murderous intent, but the seriousness and determination of the characters,
Yeah.
and some weakness also.
Yeah.
Weakness as in uh, craziness.
I trust you. I didn't saw the anime, but I
Yeah,
saw some
I just
images.
meant to say weakness as in weak, but the weakness in the crazy of that time, and people
Mm.
having to fight each other and death everywhere, stuff like that.
Okay.
Uh, Another one. This is probably didn't heard about. It was not very well saw, but Handshakers. It's a bit like No Game No Life. It has a very
Yeah,
unique color
this
theme.
one I saw some
Probably
images, and
the few episodes.
I believe that I saw the first one, the first episode of this one, and yes, the art style, it's probably close to No Game No Life. Just the color palette is different. This one uses
In
more
terms of color
gold.
palette, yeah, but it's also has more um, details overall
Hmm.
in the characters.
I
It
remember
was very
seeing.
detailized. I
I
mean, it has many details, and the color palette being
palette.
more like bluish. I mean, the story itself wasn't that great, to be honest, but
Hmm.
I think it was a nice experience just for the unique art style it had. I kind of enjoyed because how different it was, even if the story wasn't great. I wanted to see like what they could do with, like, you could say, that budget, I guess.
I remember that the characters they have a gradient over the at least the
Kinda,
girl
yes.
on the hair,
They had,
which
yeah,
is kind of it's kind of different because usually the characters they have two sets of colors for the hair. It's just the main color and then a little one little bit darker just to represent shadow.
yeah,
And I remember seeing that the girl in the anime, the hair is constantly a gradient,
yeah.
and
Probably one of the reasons I watched it.
the wave was in the center. I mean, the gradient was not from one point to the other, but there was the repetition of gradient in the middle.
Yeah, it really like makes it feel different in some way. Sometimes
Hmm.
even you, if you can't explain it right away.
Yeah,
So moving on, God Eater. So you want to talk about that one? I know you
I
watched it, right?
I've watched it. I have a little bit memory over it. I believe this one is that the characters are they are not exactly 2D. They are 2D and a half, right?
Uh, Sometimes actually.
Yeah, sometimes. I remember seeing it because it was a little bit dark, and the expressions on the characters they were very well made, and that kind of made me watch it, because usually it's hard to get emotions and to get expressions when the animes are doing in this kind of art in 2.5D.
Sometimes, yeah, I see what you mean.
I mean, I guess I could say it's easy to fuck it up.
It's actually has a lot of 2D, the coffee pit,
Hmm.
but they do try to blend it to make it feel smart 3D. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the gist of it. That's why it's unique because most of it is actually 2D, but the visuals are made to kind of look like the game at the same time. You know, God
Yeah.
Eater was an anime that came from a game, so they are kind of like trying to make it look like that
Hmm.
game. I mean, the feels. I mean, that's
Do
why it
you?
is very unique, but very high quality still.
But do you think that the art of the anime was close to the game, or
That was like was better.
the quality of the anime was better than the game?
Yeah, yeah.
But did the animators try to make some resemblance from one to the other?
On the monsters and stuff like that, yes,
On the characters,
and the
no.
characters too.
Okay, so that can actually makes the part what we are discussing important, because if the animators are trying to make the anime look close to the game, that we can judge it, but then we cannot say that they did it wrong because they are trying to make a resemblance over the game to the anime and vice versa.
Yeah, at least the style, you know. So that's an important part. It's like the style to be kind of close to the game because, for
Mhm.
example, the girl uses the same clothes and stuff like that. So if someone knows the game, they will look it right away. That's the girl.
Okay.
But it's a bit. She's a bit buffed up, not in muscles, but in graphics. The
Okay.
anime like actually looks really good in terms of its uniqueness.
Hmm. So another anime with a unique art style, I would say it's Madoka Magic.
Yes, those are the ones that like use that art style as a twist, not as enhance.
Yeah.
Because you look at Madoka and you're like, oh, this is a happy style with even magical girls, and then someone dies, you know, and shit goes nuts. And that's a really
Yeah, but even before that, the unique art style appears
yeah,
before.
it was unique from the start. I
Yeah,
think it's
that
not
kind
like
of
something.
psychedelic environment,
Yes,
and it's pure crazy. That, and you can see that they did a very good job expressing the craziness over those environments, and the how flimsy it can be to be inside it.
yeah. It's. I do think it's very well executed as they literally start with the happy things,
Mm-hmm.
even though they like this is not how happy, but it's working out happy.
Yeah.
But what what happens if something goes wrong, right? I
Yeah, the
think
first.
it's both a really good way of displaying the story and a good story and a good way to show it. I mean,
Yeah.
a good decision on the graphic style for the twistness and like it's really important this part because uh, the nature of the anime it's showing a lot of twisted things many times and twisted world. And in many animation art styles, you couldn't even do that. In a way, it would look good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it had to be a bit of a unique way, so you
Yeah.
can do it, and it still looks awesome.
In a way, it's like a reverse Kimetsu no Yaiba, because in Kimetsu no Yaiba we see the the unique art style inside the anime, and in Madoka Magica we see the anime inside the art style, because we see that environment and that
Yeah,
craziness all around the screen, and then the characters are in there, and it's not the other way around.
yeah. It's a good way to put it. It's a different way to like use the art style to your benefit.
Yeah.
In a very good way, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's like Madoka Magica, it's Made in Abyss.
Okay,
It's
so
a
this one
very
I didn't saw.
didn't saw it.
I didn't watch it.
Ah, eh, eh. You should if you watch Madoka Magica, you should watch Made in Abyss.
I'll try.
Which like you look at the characters, they are a bit chibi. It looks very kawaii, but it's actually dark as fuck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The anime like gives you the impression that's gonna be actually a happy story, even though the colors are not that happy.
Yeah.
But it quickly shows you that that's a very dark world they live in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another story. But don't get me wrong, it's actually really cool in a way they showed it. I mean, honestly, in Made in Abyss, I can't even explain it why they use that art style, but it looks good and it just fits. It's a bit hard to explain. Honestly, in Made in Abyss, I don't know what to say. It just works, and it's really good. You should watch it.
I'll try.
Um,
I,
Another one,
I can't make any promises because time is limited and you want to see the enemies that are currently coming out. But
Christmas.
if
Okay.
I, yes, also Christmas. If I ever get bored, I'll try to watch Midnights.
Yes.
How many episodes are there?
Uh, Good question. I'm
12,
not sure if
24?
12 or 24. I think there are actually 2 seasons, so maybe 24.
Okay. Or perhaps 48.
Wait, really?
I don't know.
No,
If there are
no,
two
no, no, no.
seasons, could
No,
be two
it's not.
seasons of 24.
No, it's not that big because I know it's like it moves kinda fast, isn't it? For this, it. I mean, the story doesn't feel slow. It feels like everything. I mean, something happens every episode, so I don't
Mm,
think it's like 48. I think it's
okay.
like more like 24 max.
Okay. So two seasons
Um,
of 12. Okay. Moving on.
Moving on, we have Otaxi. Otaxi is a kind of recent one, and all I could say is that they use that art for a reason in that story. That's mostly what I can say, and it totally fits, and it's important for the story. It's kind of like a mystery detective kind of story. Otaxi. It's
Okay.
actually pretty nice. Someone actually recommended it to me, and I watched it, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. That.
Mob Psycho 100. It's another anime which like has the fast drawn style. You can see like each frame doesn't look like it has that much quality,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of doesn't have for a reason, because it's an anime where like the fights are supposed to be crazy, and they actually all look mostly awesome. It's one
Okay.
of those animes where like the you can kind of say the quality feels a bit lower, but when the
Mhm.
fights start, expect to see like 360 camera while people are all fighting and stuff like that. Some crazy camera angles with bajillion effects and explosions going around, explosion cubicles going everywhere, and the camera is still rotating while all that shit happens. It's really actually nice to see those fights. I really enjoy
Psychedelic.
those.
Should
Yeah.
watch it. Should watch it while on mushrooms, or maybe not.
No, you are on mushrooms in those fights. You
Okay.
don't need mushrooms.
So it's clearly a drug.
No, yeah, no, yeah,
What?
maybe.
Yeah. Yes. No. Yes. No. No.
Maybe.
Yes.
It looks really. I really liked when the fights have like a flow to it and like the camera angles like all change. It looks really awesome.
Hmm.
And I don't even know how much work they put in to make like the camera angles changing while they fight and like
Well,
the
maybe
fights
they
are
bought
usually very
mushrooms.
smooth. When the fight starts, the action only stops when one guy's on the ground or something. Like it's non-stop action. It's not like those fights where they like throw a punch and they do like throw a kiss and a talk and another punch and a grab like West Bros and they like throw a slap and talk a bit more. No, no. It's all action.
Maybe the animators were on mushrooms while drawing that.
Just leave the mushrooms to Timo. Leave Timo at home.
Okay. Okay, so the last one that I can remember is Gantz. I remember it because the characters itself, they are drawn like the old animes were drawn.
Yeah, it's more because it's an old anime
Those
though.
those details that the characters immediately you can see that this one is a pervert, this girl is a bitch,
I mean that type.
this guy is a pussy. You can immediately see it by looking at the how the characters were drawn.
Yeah, yeah. For example, the scars to say someone is a yakuza or something. People
Yeah,
use that a lot. Yeah,
yeah. And the eyes, they have uh, more details than they should have.
I don't remember that part.
Some girls have eyelashes in the anime. I remember seeing because I think it's so weird to see eyelashes in animation.
I mean, so they look hot in the 90s.
Yes, in the 90s they probably did. Nowadays it doesn't. Well,
um.
do you have
So
any more honorable
yes,
recommendations for unique art style that you want to share?
yes. God of High School. It was an adaptation from a Korean manhwa.
Hmm?
I would say the biggest art style I noticed was like the red nose. Everyone had like a red brownish nose. Actually, it's one of those animes like the art style is really high. Sadly,
Hmm.
the story was really low,
Okay.
but you know the art style was up there, so it was not bad. Even though a good art style doesn't exactly save a bad anime, okay, guys? That's why there's likely not going to be a second season, okay?
Okay.
um, there's one more honorable mention at least, which is a summer ranking. And that's actually a very high rated anime that's coming out right now in the winter of 2021.
Mhm.
um, it's like the style art,
Yeah.
it's very childish, but the story It's actually very deep. It's one of you mentioned it before. Like you look at the guy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he has faces like this. He's a villain, right? Those
Yes.
lines. That guy is up to no good, man. I know it. And in a more childish, cartoonish, style of art, they they amp up a lot more, right? That
Yeah.
it's even easier to notice.
Yes.
But the thing about Osama ranking is like they give you that notion, but doesn't mean the guy is 100% bad or is even bad.
Okay.
You see, like every character is very unique, and the way
Mm-hmm.
they are represented, it's also very unique. Like you literally can't uh, judge a book by the cover
Okay.
or of almost any character there.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually that's one of the best things I would say that really pulls it off. Like all characters are very unique with very unique representations of what you are like expect from that character. But then like they don't like match the outer appearance with the
The
their
inside.
personality. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
which is
I get.
really good. And
Yeah.
since it's anime, it's coming out right now. I If you like watching animes which are coming out now, I would totally recommend it and
Mm-hmm.
follow it.
I agree. Probably another last honorable mention that it's easy to identify the anime is, although we don't like it very much, is One Piece. If we actually see some sort of clip, even if the characters don't show, we can probably
Yes,
tell that that's One Piece.
yes.
Uh,
He didn't change the art style all these years, man.
yeah,
it
props to
got a
them.
bit of upgrades, but I mean, it's still the
Prop,
old same One Piece.
props to the resilience for
Totally.
not changing and keeping that low level animation and characters with much detail that
I mean, he
more
barely
details that they
stopped
should have.
all those years, so I kind of get him.
Yeah,
He's probably so trained at drawing them. So
yeah, I agree. Well, this is a list of animes with unique art style.
I'm
If
sure we
you,
missed some, and you could
of
even
course,
tell us, but these were the ones we would came to our mind and we mostly remembered. We probably
yep.
missed a few, which are very unique on their own.
Hmm. If you have any recommendations over animes that have a unique art style, please let us know. We
Yes.
have all our channels, like we said before, open to your feedback. If you don't agree with some, let us know as well.
Yep.
If
Feel
you
free to
heard,
comment.
if you heard any anime that you don't know and you probably heard us talking about it, perhaps you should see it and see if you agree with us or not. And I guess this is it. We can wrap it up.
This is it.
Okay, see you in 2 weeks.
Bye. Like, subscribe.
Leave a comment.
Like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Yeah.
Or all the above.